which was my first show in a little while whilst I was traveling, I had a lot of questions coming in, and not only about the topic we talked about, but also a lot of things that people were wondering. And I thought I'd just really spend today answering a lot of these questions I had. Most of the questions were revolving around a common theme, and we also had a lot of questions about basically how to get started with Thundershrooms. So I appreciate that many of you have been with me for a while now, and you've heard a lot of the protocols over repeatedly. But I appreciate that there's many new members who are gonna be watching the show for the first time. So I'd love to go through basic protocol ideas and specifically one question about what can we do as a natural prevention or a natural preventive therapy to protect us against the big C or other seasonal flus and immunal threats that come, with seasons. So I want to also say, if I look a little bit tired, I'm in the middle of a several day advanced water fast. I don't know how long it's going to be. It's supposed to be 5 days, but might be four. So it's been really good. And especially after traveling, it's a great way to reset yourself, and for me to reset myself, especially after eating a lot of foreign things and different things which I wouldn't normally do so regularly. So body takes a bit of adjusting, and after all the flying and the jet lag, I think it's been so far it's been a great exercise. If you've not done a water fast before, there's in the Perfect Day guide, there's advanced water fast guide. It really details how to make the most out of your fast, which is, when you do something that's difficult, you really want to maximize the results that you get from it. And today, that's also really plays into the theme of what we're going to talk about today, which is how to use Thundershrooms to, we'll say, enhance or to get the most out of the efforts you're making, especially with regards to detox, with regards to liver and other organ health, and how those play into anti-aging. So back to the fast for a bit. When we do a Perfect Day, we do the advanced water fast. If we can incorporate things like clapping and the belly button therapy, these help to move the body system. So one big thing that we're doing when we're fasting is we're depriving the body of new incoming toxins, which allows the old toxins to be almost scraped away and cleaned out, just like old gunk inside your pipes. And when we do that, it really helps. We have two tracks in our body. We have the blood system, which is the highway of our blood, which is being pumped constantly by our heart, and we have another track of pipes that goes alongside the blood vessels, which is the lymphatic system. And the lymph system is of course where we catch all the gunk and the debris and the waste that needs to leave the cells and go out of the body. And where does the lymph go out of the body? Well, it goes out of the body inside lymph nodes, which are connected to skin glands, which we sweat out toxins, or we will excrete toxins in our urine or our feces. So if it's a non-fat soluble toxin, it will be filtered out through the kidney. So if it's a fat soluble toxin, it will have to be bound in the liver and passed out in your stool. So when we basically do any detox, whilst our blood has the heart to pump it, our lymphatic system, which is carrying all the waste, has no heart to pump it. And so how do we move getting a bit of the woos is from the fasting, but how does the lymphatic system pump all the lymphatic fluid, which captures all the toxins out of our body? There's no heart pumping the lymphatic system. So we have to use clappers. We have to use physical activity. We have to use physical movement and mobility, whether it's wolf non-surgical or self-clapping or shot glass therapy, or just, most importantly, of course, is just basic mobility. Your body is trained. The cells know that when there's a bit of movement, especially walking, the lymph vessels will flow. The lymphatic system will be moving, and it will push those toxins out. So when we're fasting, even though it's already very difficult, we want to talk about what can we do to get the most out of the effort, the difficult effort we're already taking. So in the case of fasting, it might seem counterintuitive that when we fast, we also have to move. It might feel like, well, when we fast, we want to just rest and do absolutely nothing, similar to how my pet snake, I've got a beautiful pet python. And when she fasts for 2 months, she doesn't move. She's completely stationary and sedentary. But for us, when we do advanced fasting, which is really a way to kickstart everything in our body, which gets the signal to turn on from the absence of food for a certain period of time, that period of time being between 48 to 72 hours, when the cells start to realize, hey, no more food coming in, let's burn up all the old gunk. Oh, you know what? We can't burn up all the old gunk because there's gunk in the way of the old gunk we need to burn. So let's get all the stuff out. And then we can burn the old stored fat, the old stored everything else that we need to get out of the body in order to access the old stored reserves of energy, which are fat. So, and of course, there's fat, not just fat we can see on the outside of our skin, but there's fat around our organs, which is known as visceral fat. And that fat is a great energy source. Not only is it an energy source that we want to burn up and use, it also means that if we burn up and use that visceral fat, it's not going to be posing a health risk internally as it surrounds our organs, like our liver, which is what happens when we eat too much sugar. Our body will store the sugar in the liver, and then it will store it in about 500 grams in our adipose tissue, in our skin fat, like under the arms, the turkey arm, the neck, love handles, which are the places where your body can stick fat without having to carry extra weight. I mean, if you think about how a backpack is designed, it's kept very close to your back, and the lower your backpack to your waist or the higher the backpack to your shoulders, the lighter it seems to carry. Similarly, that's why the fat shows up right there, right where your backpack would be, because your body knows, hey, if I'm going to carry a bit of extra weight, where can I put it where it would have the least impact or least obstruction to my daily movement? So it sticks it right there, sticks it right under your arm where it feels like, oh yeah, I'm already moving my arm. It's not much more effort to stick it under the arm. Okay, so back to the detox. How can we enhance the results for the efforts that we're making, which are difficult? Well, one way is by improving the lymphatic flow through movement. And it's counterintuitive because we're weak, we're fasting, we're resting. But mobility is so crucial to kickstart everything. And how can we break up the fat? You know, we do the fasting, so we stop the toxic input, and we also deprive ourselves of calories. So the body has to look for stored energy inside to use as a fuel. And that's stored fat around the liver. So now we fast long enough, we start burning up. We torch all the old fat. And when we run out of fat under the skin that we can see, which is, our visible subcutaneous fat, which is what this kind of fat. But when that's all burned up, we go for the visceral fat, which is the fat we can't see. So when we fast, we're not only reducing toxic input, but we start to burn up old stuff. On the way to burning up, we remove the old stuff as a means to accessing the old stored fat fuel reserve. So we get this really multiple benefit approach when we do fasting in this way. And then if we say combine, now let's bring it back to the liver now. We talked about we want to get the toxins out in order to access the old fat reserves, the old fat stores. Once we do that, we are really we want to support the liver in its detox effort. And how we do that is really with amino acids, because when toxins are brought into the liver, they need to be bound with something. Imagine like two bowls of clay or Play-Doh, if something sticky. And these balls of stickiness, they need to be bound to something hard, which can then make a structure which allows that molecule to pass out of the liver into the colon and out into the poop. So the binding of these fat soluble toxic molecules, that's done with the presence of amino acids. And the amino acids that we find, well, where do we find them? We find them in food. Well, how can we support the conjugation, which is when we stick these two toxic molecules together? How can we support that with the presence of amino acids from food if we're in the middle of a fast? Well, there's two answers. One is you support the body with supplementation during the fast in the form of SON formula, which has the full range of amino acids, and of course, amino acids which occur naturally inside Thundershrooms. Secondly, you would want to be taking your Thundershrooms and your SON formula in higher dose before you start your fast. So you're giving your body enough of the essential nutrients that it needs to support the detox without taking, let's say, if you were to say, okay, I'm going to eat 3 steaks before I go on my fast because I need the amino acids from the protein. Well, then now you have to detox 3 steaks before you get to your actual goal, which is to detox the old fat, stored toxins, everything like that. So it would be a really good idea before your fast, as you're tapering your food, slowing down your food, you also add in a higher dose of SON formula and Thundershrooms to support the presence of amino acids, which will keep the detox furnace functioning after you stop consuming new food. So this is really a great way to almost hack the results of your fast. And you might start to see the same results in 3-day fast as you had in a 5-day fast, or maybe 4 days instead of 6 days, I'd say. So that's why I'm doing a 4-day fast, because I'm already starting to see the kind of things that I've done to achieve a 6-day fast before, when I achieved a 6-day fast before. And so I invite you to also introduce this to your life. It's a great, even if not because of travel, but after any length of period of stress or just any period of time, whether it's every 3 months, every 2 months, twice a year. For me personally, my partner and I, she likes to do it. She gets a great benefit from her energy and she's super fit and trim anyway. So there's no weight goals, but it's really to clean out the toxins. And so my partner, she really enjoys the benefits of the fast as well, especially we combine it with coffee enemas. And we try to do it, let's say, twice a year in the 4 to 6 day duration. And then every 2 to 3 months, we'll do a 3-day fast. And this is really just to keep the body from being overfed for too long, because we just have a habit of, through the way we live our modern life. I mean, we are social beings as well. We love food and we love to, especially when traveling. So it's a good way to just reset and realign the body's internal function and let it remind the body how to function without an abundance of food. So along with this detox function, we have inside the liver, we have the combining of the toxic molecules together, which are going to be passed out. And we also have, our body's able to create a lot of the amino acids and also the antioxidants, such as glutathione, which is used to create the antioxidant superoxide dismutase, SOD. So that's one of the most powerful antioxidants which our body creates. And we use the amino acid glutathione to do it. And our body also creates glutathione. Basically, many things start with the absorption of sunlight into vitamin D, and which are hormone pathways which convert all sorts of nutrients, whether it's absorbed through our skin, such as vitamin D, or vitamins and minerals in our food. We convert all these different inputs into such things like the amino acids, which are essential to our function. So glutathione, we produce it, but also we can have it from external sources in food and other. So we can really support the body's natural detox ability, which is the natural ability to detox really its capability, how efficient of a detox machine is the body, really determined by how much nutrients the body has. And so we can support with Thundershrooms. And we have substantial research specifically around liver repair. And this is very important because as the liver is the main detox organ of the body, if we have a poorly functioning liver, we have a poorly functioning detox system, it really increases the likelihood that we can have toxic overload, or we can have chronic issues from toxic inputs such as basic food allergens, which could lead to leaky gut or other type of chronic issues, which really start at the breakdown of the liver's ability to get the crap out of you. Of course, the bad crap out of you. So when we talk about using Thundershrooms to, let's say, supercharge your liver's natural cell regeneration ability, which means that the liver, as it's doing its function, it's constantly using up cells and making new ones because it's a very active organ. and the regeneration of cells is slowing down as we age. So Thundershrooms supports, through the presence of its natural active compounds, which are in the groups of polysaccharides, triterpenoids, and various nucleic acids, which become the amino acids which we use. These naturally occur inside the Thundershrooms when it's found in the wild, on the tree, in the fruiting body, above 30 years old, before it's pulled off, harvested, and brought into your market, which is Thundershrooms. So these compounds already occur inside the mushrooms, which is what allows these mushrooms to survive up to we have recorded mushrooms over thousands of years old. And these compounds act in a supportive way when we consume them in the formula you have, specifically in these two formulas of Vital Life and Critical Care. And there's substantial research which can support a wide range of liver supportive functions. So we even have a case where we have a hardened liver, a liver that was basically hardened from fibrosis, which is considered a quite advanced organ stage disease. If your liver has fibrosis, it's hard, it becomes fibrotic, and it's already considered an advanced stage. So to see the Thundershrooms that can turn the hard liver, hard fibrotic liver, back into a red, soft, healthy liver with the consumption of Thundershrooms after a period of several weeks is a very powerful natural anti-aging tool, because we have a liver that normally would be construed as fibrotic. It's on the way to death, which is cirrhosis. The liver, we go from fibrosis, which is damaged, hardened, weakened, old liver, and then we go to cirrhosis, which is basically the death the death of the liver and its ability to do its function. So it's a very serious state of dishealth to be in when you get to cirrhosis. So at the fibrosis stage, we're already at a red alert for the liver. And many people who've been drinking alcohol regularly for most of their life, keeping late hours, and really having a high sugar diet. Now, sugar is the main burden on the liver. And that's when of course, when we have alcohol, the alcohol molecule, ethanol, is the main burden. But the second main burden of the liver that the liver faces in its life is sugar. So alcohol, man, it's a double whammy. Gives you ethanol and sugar. So that's why your liver is so burdened from a big night out of drinking or from a lifetime of chronic drinking. So when we have the Thundershrooms, which is able to regenerate or support the body's ability to regenerate new liver cells, we can turn the fibrotic, hardened liver, which many doctors might say it's beyond help. You just have to slow down your drinking so it doesn't turn into cirrhosis anytime soon. But cirrhosis at this stage, not much we can do for you. But there is just Thundershrooms. With Critical Care, depending on the severity, or just Vital Life, if you get to it early enough, we can do a lot. And if we combine this with fasting, with coffee enema during the fasting, with removal of toxic input, we can get a lot more. We can supercharge the results beyond what people said is impossible. I get this a lot in my experience with Thundershrooms. I've had so many times where we have to basically, I won't say we don't have to prove anything, but what happens with people is that their results end up proving what people thought was not possible, what people thought was not likely. And then when they say, okay, maybe it happened one time, sure, a one-off, that's a fluke. But when it happens 7 or 8 times out of 10 with people who thought, they said there's no hope or there's no chance, or yeah, just slow it down, then people start to take notice. So you don't have to really ever accept that there's nothing you can do about your state of health. If you've had a tough life of liver burden, there's something you can do. It's right available to you inside Thundershrooms of Critical Care and Vital Life. I would say if you still have, I also take Critical Care before, like for example, in a few weeks, I'm going to be going to a wedding where I'm sure there's going to be a lot of drinking. It's a Taiwanese wedding. Taiwanese people love to drink and they love to cheers and they have all these drinking songs and drinking games. And I'm not a big drinker. So I'm going to be, in fact, I'm not a drinker at all. But my secret weapon is Thundershrooms. And I will be taking particularly the Critical Care, which has a very strong anti-inflammatory effect. Now, when I have alcohol, which is something that's allergic to me, makes me turn red, anything you eat with an allergic response you're going to get a fantastic benefit from critical care, which acts as a strong anti-inflammatory. And what it does is, not only does it bring down the inflammation, it also balances out the immune system so that the allergic response going forward is not as severe. So I take my critical care before my drinking and after in quite a high dose. I'd say probably, because I'm allergic to alcohol, I'd say four. I usually take four before of critical care and four capsules after, four pills. And so that usually makes my hangover, not usually, every time, it reduces my hangover quite severely the next day. And I really suffer from alcohol headaches. So it's a big thing. I really wouldn't dare to drink without it. Um, and similarly, if you're going to go for a big party, you can use the Thundershroomz Critical Care to prevent or lower your ill effects afterward and recover, speed up your recovery. So that's really linked. And how when we improve the liver function, we improve the detox. That is how we bring the anti-aging benefit, because your skin only reflects the health of your organs inside. And the main organs would be your liver and your kidneys, your spleen, your stomach, your heart. But main thing is the liver, because the liver is what's processing the toxins. And if you have a poor time processing them, you're going to see it in your skin. And that's where we see aging start faster. With the aging, actually, when we can see people look older on the outside, it means they're older on the inside as well. And so when we can do things like fasting, advanced water fast, Thundershroomz, to improve the state of our inner health, that's how we get the anti-aging of our outward appearance. And we even call this concept in anti-aging studies, we call it edible cosmetics. And people think, oh wow, what is that? Like makeup that you eat your makeup? No, you eat something which makes your face look like you're wearing some type of toner or something, because it makes your skin glow from the health you achieve on the inside of your organs inside you. So that's where we get the link between, by fixing the liver health, we automatically derive an anti-aging benefit. And yes, so that's very linked with, once we can improve the detox function, we can improve all of the bodily systems and the bodily functions. And of course, inside the gut, right after the liver, is where we make all the blood cells, we make all the immune cells, we make the T cells and the B cells. And when we have a healthy functioning gut, we have a healthy functioning liver, our immune system is, again, it all works in tandem, everyone. We can't just aim, when we take the mushroom and say it's nature's greatest immune gift, which it absolutely is, but it's not only nature's greatest immune gift. By being nature's greatest immune gift, it also becomes nature's greatest liver health and therefore anti-aging gift. So this is how they're all linked. They're all parts of the same triangle. If we lift one up, the whole level gets raised. And we approach this from a multi-stream approach, where we add in not only the Thundershroomz, but we add in the Thundershroomz before an advanced water fast, and then we do the water fast also during the water fast with supplementation, clapping, mobility, meditation to address maybe some stresses or other toxic inputs that might be emotional. We get a much bigger output from your effort. And so I guess that's really how I started the episode. And I really want to draw the conclusion with that: your mileage will vary, but you can always get more out of it if you put things together. And you put the things that really help each other together. You get 1 + 1 equals not 2. 1 + 1 equals, if you put one of these things plus one of these things together, you get 4 or 5. And this is where we can really start to see much better output for our efforts. And so I want to answer also a question I had about how to get started. Okay, so we've talked a lot about liver and about anti-aging. And well, where do you get started? What if you have no liver? No liver issues? Of course you have a liver. But what if you have no notable issues? You want to start taking the Thundershroomz before you start to have issues, which is the absolute right time to always start taking it. Well, if your simple way to start is really, if you've never had an allergic response or any type of immunological sort of autoimmune symptoms, and you're under the age of 30, 35, for men 30, for women 35, then you'll be fine with the Vitalife that as the dose recommends on the bottle, 1 to 2 capsules per day. And same thing with the critical care, 1 to 2 capsules per day. Very simple, straightforward. The critical care, for without having any issues, just acts as a stronger overall immune boosting tonic, which can be taken instead of the Vital Life or together with the Vital Life, because they actually don't quite overlap. One is 70-30, a ratio of polysaccharides and triterpenoids, and the other is the inverse ratio of polysaccharides and triterpenoids. So you can actually take them together, but if you take one or the other, they both work just as a natural preventative, really preventative immune supportive agent. So this is your one-stop go-to immune supplement, where there really isn't anything else out there, or especially in the Wolf Library inside the Doc of Detox universe, there isn't anything that specifically addresses the immune system function and supporting the immune system like the Thundershroomz does. The Thundershroomz is really for supporting, let's say, T cell health, B cell health, NK cells, lymphocyte function, basically any type of cellular function that's to do with the immune health. Thundershroomz is your one-stop shop. So in that regard, for everyone, it's a good go-to as a first port of call. Then depending on your various issues, you might need various supplementation to make up for shortfalls or something that your body is having a hard time process. And then if you do have any of these specific issues, you're welcome to email me at thundershroomz.docofdetox@gmail.com, and I can go through your specific case anytime, no problem. So for beginners, you'd start with just 1 or 2 capsules of each, or one or the other. It really depends on your budget, because we want to be having Thundershroomz as a regular part of your life, not as a one-off. Of course, you have it in a megadose in a one-off in a case of, which is another question I had about COVID. And we've seen, look, in our part of the world, we treat COVID like a flu. At the government level, maybe they say one thing, but at the real level, at the level of medical practitioners, it's treated like a flu. It's not considered a very serious threat or health risk anymore, or since very early on, it was kind of okay. Yeah, it's not so bad. We have everything we need to deal with it. And we in Thailand, we had a long phase where we didn't have the vaccines and all this, so we were treating with really like ivermectin. We were treating with a lot of natural therapies, and one of them, which we treated with in our circle, is the Thundershroomz. We were treating with the critical care, and the exact same formula you have. It's called something else out here, but it's the exact same formula, 100%, as you have. And the dose is for non-symptomatic 15 capsules per day, split in 3 times per day. So morning, afternoon, and night, 5 capsules of the critical care. Now, if the symptoms have already progressed to the point where there's coughing and that's it's more serious, and that's where the real risk of COVID comes from. Now, COVID, I said, it's not so serious, but if it becomes to that stage where it's looking to go into the lungs, then we say, okay, now it has a risk of becoming a genuine lung infection or something quite risky to the lungs. So the main goal of Thundershroomz with COVID is to stop the progression into the lungs by its anti-inflammatory action. So we've had quite a bit of success with 5 pills per day. Sorry, 3 times per day for asymptomatic, and symptomatic. We were taking 15 capsules 3 times per day. That's 45 capsules per day for symptomatic for between 5 to 14 days, depending on the progression and the success and whatever else the person's taking. Since then, me personally, I have not had a shot and don't plan on it. And although I did get COVID when traveling in India for a couple of days after, the recovery was pretty fast. And aside from that episode, I haven't had, touch wood, a flu or cold or serious immune weakness in 7 years since I've been taking Thundershroomz. So, you can also have immune prevention and protection from the Thundershroomz and from conscious living, from following the, perfect day lifestyle and doing a few things like advanced water fasting, and really asking yourself what else you can do to make your health the best it can be, because really that's up to you. We're here with the tools. I've been lucky enough to share this mushroom with all around the world, which is really a blessing for me. It's also a blessing for you. and let it be something to supercharge your detox, your liver health, your anti-aging, your body's natural immune health, your body's natural immune protection, your body's natural anti-cancer defenses, all these things which your body is capable of doing. It's within the body's potential, and you can empower it to reach that potential. So I look forward to seeing you again next week on Beyond Thundershrooms. And until then, please stay healthy. And I invite you to do something about your health a bit better than you did yesterday. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye for now. Okay.